Once again.
Hello, it's Jimmy here at O'Reilly's. Just come to look at a VW Toureg. We're just setting it up here. So he's had the AA out, and they've told him he's got a problem with the DPF. So we'll start up and see what's going on here. So we've got the engine management light there and a flashing coil symbol. So I'm just going to turn the engine off and then put the ignition on. We're going to check for some codes, see what we've got. It's going to run a diagnostic scan. It's the 3.0 TDI V6 engine, this. So we pause the scan there. We're just going to go in and read the engine, what codes are in the engine. Come on, a little bit slow. Particle filter, soot restriction, ash accumulation, P242F, and then we got all of this variation codes here. -0109. Let that focus. So this is not the code that he gave me when he called. He said the breakdown company gave him a P2002. But what can happen with these is if we go in and do a standard scan instead of a detailed one, like an OBD scan. So if we go back out of this, just do a standard OBD check. That was just reminding me to make sure and remove the Bluetooth OBD connector there. So if we run an OBD scanner, we'll probably get a different code with a different description. Yeah, there we go, P2002. So yeah, they've just done a standard OBD code read. Below efficiency, which yeah, it doesn't give you much information that way. It's a lot better on the other one, so it's actually telling you there's soot accumulation. So we're going to go back, and we'll go back into the actual fault again. So we're going to clear the code. Now the breakdown company has already cleared the code, of course, and it doesn't work. So, but we're going to clear it now before we're doing our tests, and then we're going to put some flush in the DPF. So with DPF issues, it's always a good idea to use something like this as a smoke tester to make sure there's no air leaks, boost leaks, which can be a common issue for anything like this. There's no other related faults, so I think air leaks are just going to be the main issue I'm looking at here for now. So I'm just going to connect up this to the inlet. Switch on the smoke machine. And I'll just wait a minute for that to start producing some smoke there. And then I can connect it up. So now I'll wait for a few minutes to see if I can see any signs of smoke leaking from any sort of boost hoses anywhere around the engine or the inlet manifold. Okay, so we have found a leak down here. Looks like it's coming from the turbo actuator. So the actual rod there is broken. Let's see if I can get down there to show you. So yeah, the rod is broken there, and we're getting smoke coming out. So this is going to need replacing. So that piece down there is the intake manifold flaps actuator, and the intake manifold there just runs all along underneath there, so that's going to need replacing. But I think he's going to have his own garage do that, but they just can't sort out the DPF, so I'm going to do this side of it, and that is going to need to be sorted immediately. Otherwise this problem is going to keep reoccurring. So the DPF pressure sensor is just down the back. It's a little bit hard to reach, so I might just go through the O2 sensor port here, open this up and put a flush fluid straight through there. So I've just used a 22mm crow's foot spanner to open the O2 port there. Now we're just filling it up with our fluid. That's just about done there. And we're using this Wins DPF cleaner here. Okay, now everything's back together. We're just going to start the vehicle up. So it's going to kick out some soot and foam there from the back for a while. So we're just going to hold the revs at about 2,500 RPM for about 5 minutes. We're just looking at the live data there. Now just switch the engine off and clear the codes again. Now we'll go back, go to hot functions, but we're going to start it back up again first. Just let it idle for a minute. Okay, the fault's still returning, so we might have to do adaptions, because obviously it won't let you just erase the code without telling it it's had new parts basically. So we can go in here and check the ash. So it just says there if it's reached 0.46 then you have to replace it. That's not always true. You might have seen in the past that we've just readapted them and then put the flush through them, and it has worked and it's lowered down to an acceptable level. So we're going to carry on here with this. Yes, ignition's on. So it's at 0.36, so it is below the limit anyway. Okay. So now we're just going to adapt the particle filter. Otherwise these lights will not stop flashing, they'll just continuously do that. Even if it reads that the levels are down below where they should be, it just won't stop flashing until you've reset it. So just telling it it's had a new DPF. So now the ash is going to be checked again, it says. Switch the ignition on. End of test. So we're going to see what's in the adaption levels 2. Might be something else you can do on there. So it's the same thing again. Particle filter was replaced, or the differential pressure sensor. So we'll just do it in here as well. I don't know why there's 2 modules on it, but we'll just reset them both. So that's now saved. We can turn the ignition back on and press done. Now usually here we're left with a choice of either going back to the live data and holding some revs on the vehicle to see the levels dropping down. Just depends on what vehicle you're in. This one was actually showing us the levels, but we can as well do an emergency regeneration, which will obviously then give us the full readings. We'll see what it says in here once we go through it. Okay, that is plugged in. It's just telling you that it can reach high temperatures. Start the engine. So it needs to be at least a 70 degrees coolant temperature or oil temperature. So we're currently at that, so we'll have to let it warm up. So you can see there we're currently at 19 grams and the maximum should be 68. And that's a part of the good thing about setting up the regeneration process. It just gives you a lot more detailed information about how much grams are in there and where exactly it's at, where the levels are at before we're finished, and before we leave we know exactly where the levels were and where they are now. Okay, now we've triggered that off. It says it can take up to 40 minutes, but obviously we flushed it first, so it usually takes, I'd say, around about 10 minutes, and it should be just at the get that 19 grams down to sort of zero, and then it will automatically stop. So that'll just sit there at around about 1500 RPM. Most of these VWs sit around that range, and it will take, like I said, about 10 minutes or so until it's complete. So now we'll look at the live data again. We'll hold the revs up, and this is what we have now. So we're getting like a maximum of like 20. That's idling at zero now. That was idling at around about 60, 65 I think before. So that's a good result there. And that's it, all of the faults have disappeared, so we're finished on this. We'll cancel back out of here. And that's all done. See you in the next video.